In that report earlier. Now, Madagascar is paying one of the highest prices for climate change, which they have done little to cause. The toughest droughts in 40 years have left thousands on the island on the brink of starvation. Malnourished children and adults are forced to forage for leaves to eat. But aid groups say that the help reaching the island is doing little to stop the situation getting worse.
This was once fertile farmland, but now it's a desert. Years of drought have destroyed nearly all of the crops here. Strong winds sweeping away the soil, and then sandstorms covering what's left. Entire communities are on the brink of starvation. People here have resorted to eating whatever they can find.
In the morning, I prepared this plate of insects. I clean them the best I can without any water. For 8 months, my children and I have been eating this plant every day. We have nothing else to eat and no rain to grow crops.
People here are on the front line of a global climate crisis. Madagascar hardly emits any greenhouse gases, but it's one of the worst victims of climate change.
We're facing the worst drought in over 40 years. And this is an area where people depend on their own agriculture, homegrown school meals, smallholder farmers. This is how they live down here. But with drought, back to back to back, people can't survive.
The cycle of drought is tearing families apart. These two boys, orphaned after their mother died of hunger. They've been taken in by another family, but severely malnourished, they're still not getting enough to eat.
We have nothing left. Their mother is dead, and my husband is dead. What do you want me to say? Our life centers around looking for cactus leaves to survive.
Nearly 1 million people in southern Madagascar depend on food aid. Some people here walked for hours to get help, but not everyone is healthy enough to make the long journey. Aid organisations are urging that more be done to help Madagascar. Food to feed the hungry mouths, and finally, action on climate change.
Let's talk about this a bit more with Mathias Mogge. He's the General Secretary of the German charity agency World Hunger Help. Mr. Mogge, what needs to be done right now to stop starvation in Madagascar?
Yeah, first of all, these images are making me sad again and again. It's so terrible to see these images, and what it needs is really immediate relief to those people most affected by either bringing directly food to the region or by supplying the people with cash. This is, for example, what Welthungerhilfe is currently doing. But in the long run, I think we need to work on the resilience of the people so that they are more resilient against these climate shocks. This needs reforestation, for example. This needs erosion control, better irrigation system for the farmland, better seeds, for example. Many things which need investment in this region.
So this is not the first time that we're reporting on the dire situation there in Madagascar, and I was under the impression that help was underway. Why is there not enough help actually reaching Madagascar right now?
I think the pandemic also plays a role here because markets are sometimes closed. There are many barriers. Inputs are not really coming to the region. The pandemic is pretty strong, actually, in Madagascar. And, I mean, we're seeing the pandemic on the rise in several African countries at the moment. So this plays an important role. The other factor is it is really far away from the capital. So mainly goods are coming to the capital and then needs to be transported to this area. So this is all making help for the people not so easy.
Your organisation has released its annual report today, and in it you talk about hunger as a weapon of war. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, unfortunately, in quite a few conflicts worldwide, hunger is used as a weapon by conflicting parties. At the moment, for example, in the Tigray region of Ethiopia, we clearly see that people do not get the assistance, the help they deserve, they need, they have the right to get this assistance. And people are starving, yeah? And the warring parties in this conflict in Tigray, in Ethiopia, are not really making it possible for humanitarian organization to access this region, to access the people.
So you talked about Tigray. Who's responsible there? Is that the fault of the Ethiopian government?
It is a responsibility of every party involved in this conflict. For us, it's difficult to say who has more, who's more guilty, so to say. What we see is that the people are severely suffering, and we probably can't assess yet exactly what the level of suffering, what the level of people in need really is, because access is again and again hampered. I mean, even UN organizations have difficulties really to go into every pocket of this area.
Mathias Mogge from the World Hunger Help, a German charity. Thank you very much for coming on to DW News.
Thank you.